G'day, Dennis Carrier here. This is a 2013 Can-Am XMR 1000. Just put the plow on it, and I'm finding that running back and forth without moving has caused me some problems. It has melted my seat. Temperature has risen, and I think I have found the problem causing it. So let's go to the bike. Alright, so basically I've removed all the plastics, seat, battery, got rid of some wiring tie downs in this area here, and the as you can tell, there's a little bracket here that basically protects the plug-in and protects the computer wiring here. And I've got all that apart, so I was able to remove the bolts further up in here, the bolt here, a few bolts down here. Got to watch you don't lose these little clips here, as they're it'll be a pain in the butt to try to get back in. Fine. Now, so I was able to get this off. Sorry for the camera, it's on my phone. So what I've been finding is that this is not shielded here. So Can-Am kind of missed the boat here and allowed these gaps here, allowing the temperature to rise around this frame, around the tubing. I guess that's kind of a seat support basically, and it's allowing the heat to go up, which is allowing here, you can see where my seat was melting right on top of the plastic pan here. And so what I'm going to try to do is use some Roxol insulation that we use at work to for basically smokestacks or exhaust stacks on big generators. And what I'm going to try to do is wrap a little bit of the Roxol right here. Hopefully it doesn't it's going to be a trial and error here. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues with the exhaust itself. So I'll cut up some Roxol and throw it in there and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so here's the Roxol insulation I'll be using. Of course, it's for high heat purposes to wrap exhausts. It's a pretty big piece. I don't know if it can't be too common to get for anybody. So basically I'm going to try to cut myself a piece probably about 3 inches wide here. I may have to take some of this off because of the thickness, but I'm going to try to form that around the exhaust. So I'm just going to give it a cut with the Alpha knife and install it. Now here's a piece of the Roxol cut. Really easy to cut like butter actually with an Alpha knife. Now we'll see how the workability is, because it is pretty firm stuff, even though it is like a fiberglass type material. So using the Alpha here, I've cut it in half here to give me a little bit more workability. It's a bit thick to try to work with. We'll see if if I can mend it to the exhaust pipe. Alright, so what I've done here is I was able to, after I cut it in half, I was able to get it inside here, and then trying to push this down with like a screwdriver or a little putty knife or something, just to allow that to go through without catching on this I'm not sure what kind of nut that is, like clip nut type thing. So I was able to push it down. I rolled it back there to try to give it a bit of a better seal, because this is where I'm trying to seal is this area here where there's some gaps here allowing the heat to rise and up through the bottom here, which is melting the seat. So there's something else I wanted to mention is this cap here. Now this is normally sitting up here, and I've noticed this cap here, so it comes right off very quite easily. And but what I wanted to do is show you is that I found it strange that it's sitting there, and basically it's a cap for the XMR. Now from what I understand and from what I've seen, the actual Outlander 1000 has, because you can submerge it, you can't submerge it as far as an XMR. The air actually gets blown back into this port here, pushing cool air throughout the exhaust and allowing, I'm going to assume that's probably why this isn't really melting on the Outlander 1000, or maybe it is. However, they've got cool air, whether it's cool air, it's coming through I think it's from the belt here, and it's blowing through here, allowing the cooling of the exhaust and possibly stopping some of the issues I'm having with the XMR. Now, I don't seem to be the only one. It seems to be a pretty common thing with the XMRs. Airbox is melting. Just checked mine. It's under here, and it's actually in really good condition. I don't see any melting back there, so I'm kind of happy on that. All right, I'll continue buttoning this up and I'll keep on going. All right, so I'm at the stage where I'm buttoning up this heat shield, and I've noticed that right down here I've got a little bit of a antifreeze leak, so I traced it up to over here. This hose here and these clamps that Can-Am puts on they're okay. They just they tend to leak. I've had Can-Am Spiders, Outlanders, Renegades, etc. This specifically this V-twin is leaking. So I'm going to put an actual gear clamp on there and try to stop that from leaking. And there we go. Gear clamp installed. So hopefully just put that a little right next to it and right on the raised part of the barb to try to seal that up. I'm not too worried about coming off. I just wanted to stop it from leaking. Now I'm going to continue putting on the heat shield. Tie wraps replaced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So make sure you put them all back because you want to try to keep that wiring harness away from the heat shield as much as possible. As I was buttoning this up, something else I want to point out is I did have an issue last year. Actually, what happened is that basically my suspension air pump that raises and lowers the suspension, as soon as I would turn it on and fire up the bike, it would go off and it would run until I either overheat or time out. And basically what I found is that I had a pinhole in this line here. So the insulation had come down and the heat from the exhaust had basically melted a hole in the line here. This line is always pressurized because this is the line that actually you can put your little air hose to air up tires, etc. So this here I'm going to make sure it's all the way up before I drop this back down. But that's another issue I've had melt on me in the past. Now that I'm installing the battery, again, because you have to pull this battery out to be able to lift this pan up. You can leave the battery there, but it's heavy as hell. So what I've done is I've cleaned my contacts. Since I'm here, I'll put some dielectric grease just for corrosion prevention. And of course used some 600 grit sandpaper just to clean up my contacts. These are actually wires that go to my rear winch, which I'll do a separate video on all the little doodads that I've actually added to this quad. Now that I'm all buttoned up here, I just noticed that as I was about to put my airbox cover here, I wanted to show you the little speedo healer, which I'll probably put in another video when I go over the whole bike. But so basically, as you can tell, that's A4.00 or 40.0, and that's basically I'm recalibrating my input from the speed sensor going into the computer that's telling you how fast you're going, and this actually recalibrates my speed for my tracks. And I also can flick it. I've got a little switch that I just flip it, and now see it's going to be 50.0. So 50% of the speed is what I use when I got tires on. And so basically when I look on my speedometer, I'm going half the speed that I'm actually moving. And this in turn cancels out the actual speed limiter on the XMR, which makes it quite a bit faster. You go until you hit the rev limiter. And trust me, it blows the other XMR out of the water when we're side by side. Even with tracks, by having the speedo healer, I'm quicker than my buddy. Well, not anymore since he got his, but it also gives you a bit more speed with the tracks because you kind of limit out pretty quick, and it gives you an accurate, fairly accurate speed reading. This giving you a bit more, less mileage basically on the odometer. All right.